Good morning. It's officially day 7. I'm having my coffee and a wonderful breakfast put out by Mitch at the bunkhouse, a little bit of puppy snuggling, and then I am off to the Gold Hill trailhead. Well, welcome to the real day 7. Mitch from the bunkhouse just dropped me off at the Gold Hill trailhead, which is about halfway between Frisco and Breckenridge, where the trail crosses after you come down. And it's I don't know, maybe a mile from the bunkhouse, which is a pretty awesome place to stay. So I came in yesterday since I already had a reservation, spent the night, and I slept great, but I am feeling a little bit winded this morning before I even started hiking. And I don't know if that is the medication or the altitude or a combination of both, because I did come from about 5,000 feet in Denver to I think about 8,500 here all in one day yesterday. So I've only got to do maybe 12, 13 miles. Gonna just slow roll it, take it easy. It's a Tuesday morning and I'm gonna see Andy Friday. So I've got about 4 13-ish mile days, which should be pretty easy and will give me a chance to make sure that I'm in good health. Still waiting for some additional test results to come through, which is frustrating because I'd love to, make sure that I'm good before I hike out, but the doctor did say it was okay for me to start hiking, so that's what I'm gonna do. So Breckenridge is down there in the valley below me. I started out just over 9,000 feet and I'm climbing up to about 12,500 this morning, and then going back down towards Copper Mountain Ski Resort and hopefully camping just before I get there. If that plan works out, then when I get up in the morning I can break camp and head down into the village and grab myself a coffee to get me going before I hike back up the hill into the mountains, heading towards, where am I going? Past Leadville, towards Tennessee Pass, and then eventually I'll get to Timberline Creek trailhead on Turquoise Lake. So I am all covered up this morning, not because it's cold, but because the antibiotics that I'm taking increase sun sensitivity, and I definitely don't want to end up with a blistering sunburn up here. And the higher you get in elevation, the closer you are to the sun. So it's a bit of a challenge. It's I want to say it was about 55 degrees when I started hiking, and it's supposed to warm up to close to 80 this afternoon, but I'm hoping by then I will be over the peak and heading downhill in the shade. We'll see if I'm so lucky, but for now I've got the hood on, sun gloves, long pants. I'm wearing my leggings today. All the things to hopefully protect my skin and not end up with a really uncomfortable situation. I just startled that little squirrel right down there in the log. I don't know if you can see him. He and his buddy were racing, and he came running right across my feet. It was pretty funny. I think we were both surprised. Other than a couple of day hikers down near the trailhead, I have not seen a soul this morning, and it's amazing. It is so beautiful and quiet out here with the breeze and the squirrels and the chipmunks. I'm having a great time. Well, I passed my first little mini peak, so I get to go down for a few minutes. And while I was up there, a couple other hikers came up behind me, so not the only one out. It's funny how you can just be a quarter mile or a tenth of a mile even from somebody else and not realize that there's anybody right ahead or right behind you. I'm at about mile 4 for the day, and I just came down from there, and there is a trail sign. And then I'm at a trail intersection, and it says Peaks Trail, and it's got distances to Breckenridge and Frisco, but no CT marker. So I had to check on the map, and I learned that I don't go that way. I go the opposite direction for a little bit. So when I head over here, it says I think about a 1/4 mile, and then I'll rejoin the Colorado Trail. And after going down for a bit, I'm starting up. I've got about 5 miles of climbing from 9,900 feet up to 12,400, I believe. Well, here I am at the next intersection, and this says I've got 9 miles to go to Copper Mountain. Lots of very inviting creeks along here. I'd love to just like sit in that one for a while. Just came up the trail right there thinking I'd like nothing more than a campsite to flake out for a little while. And here one is. I'm not quite half done with my miles for the day. I'm right at 6 miles. And I'm feeling like a nap would be the best thing ever. I don't know why. I started out great, but then past couple miles I've just been dragging, feeling really drained. And I don't know if it's because I didn't eat enough, or if I'm eating crap. I slept well last night, so I'm really not sure what the deal is, but I'm gonna break here for a little bit, maybe have a decent lunch, because I've just been snacking on nuts and raisins and candy and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna see what I have in my food bag back here. Haven't unloaded it yet, that I could eat, and maybe that will help me. So anyway, I've also got a lot on my mind because I got my lab results this morning and it came back negative. So I did not have a UTI, and the office, the urgent care where I went to, didn't really have any answers for me. They said I didn't need to keep taking the antibiotics, and I reminded them that the practitioner I talked to said I could possibly have a kidney infection if it wasn't a UTI, but apparently that requires blood work and imaging, which means I would have to get back to a doctor. So they told me if I don't have any more symptoms to just not worry about it and stop taking the antibiotics. And that just is confusing to me. So anyway, I'm going to see how things go today. Hope that my urine stays a normal color, relatively normal color. And yeah, I guess tonight would be in my next dose of antibiotics, and maybe I'll stop and see what happens. So fingers crossed that there's nothing seriously wrong that I don't know about. I don't feel like there is. I don't feel like there's something really wrong. It's just really scary when your urine is like dark reddish brown. That is not a normal color. So anyway, sorry if that's grossing you out, but that's what's going on, and that's like hiker life, right? You got to deal with whatever comes on the trail. So anyway, I'm gonna chill for a little bit and then keep on hiking uphill. Lunch today, a little peanut butter and jelly on a King's Hawaiian roll. Well, this was a nice little lunch spot till the sun started catching up with me. I was stretched out, relaxing, dozing a little bit on and off, and then I started heating up because the sun shifted, and yeah, so I guess that's a good sign that it's time to move along. Plenty of snow still up there. I was really hoping that that break and lunch and a little rest would make a big difference, but I've been hiking for about 10 minutes now, and I still feel like, ugh. I'm hiking about as slow as a hiker can hike and still call it hiking. I'm hiking shade to shade and setting small goals for myself, and the next one is the next water, which I think is 0.6 ahead, and maybe by the time I get there I'll be feeling better. If not, I'm gonna drink a whole bunch more water and yeah, just take it literally one step at a time. All right, I am definitely having a hard time this afternoon, but look at that view. I honestly don't know why I don't remember any of this from last year. It's like a whole new trail. Just came over the crest of that bowl and up above another one. I can actually see Breckenridge, I think, down there. And I've got some more up to do before I get to start going down. I have to think about that for a minute to find the best path. I think it's right down this way. Well, I made it, but it was a little dicey because this late in the day it's pretty slushy. I just looked at my GPS, and if it's right, it says I'm still a mile from the top of the saddle. I'm not happy. And more slushy snow to navigate. This day has not turned out like planned. I'm a hot mess. So it's 3:40. I'm scared I'm gonna lose my footing and go tumbling down the mountain. I'm praying that there are no more snow pads, whatever you want to call them, for me to cross. And far out says I've still got 0.7 to go to the top of the saddle before I can start going down. So it's a little bit scary, if I admit. I'm gonna break here for a minute and then forge on. It is beautiful up here, and I'm very thankful there are no thunderstorms threatening. But there's nothing I like more in this moment than to be past the top, heading down, looking for a campsite. Another hiker passed me about 5 minutes ago, and I don't see anyone else on the trail, so I have the feeling that I'm the last one for the day. Nope, I'm wrong. There's people down there. And far out tells me I've got 0.1 to go. I did it! Can you believe it? I did it! Marmot over there staring at me. What you doing, buddy? Bye! Now that I'm almost off the mountain, I really want to be in those trees because that's where the campsites are. So I am all tucked in for the night. It is, I don't know, 8:30, 8:45, somewhere in there. And that hike today, 11.4 miles, I think. Took me literally all day. Mitch dropped me off at 7:45-ish, and I started hiking right away, but I was having a really hard time, and I think that it was probably because of the antibiotics that I was taking, because I have been hiking really, really well before my little break to go get checked out. But as I mentioned earlier, I got good news. I do not have a urinary tract infection. I can get off the antibiotics, and hopefully I will stay symptom-free. And if I have any other issues, then it will be time to get off and go see my primary care doctor, get checked for potential kidney infection, that sort of thing. But it doesn't seem like there's any concern on the part of the medical professionals that that's the case. So I'm very encouraged by that. I'm going to try to do a bigger mile day tomorrow, probably 15 miles. I'm about 4 miles from Copper Mountain Resort right now. So I literally took the first tent site that I found when I came down the hill past the tree line, because I just forgot so much about the sections that I did. I knew when I was going to start again at Waterton Canyon that it was going to be a completely different experience from last year, because I'm not sick, thank God. But it's funny because I think I only remember the stuff that I really liked about each section, and like I completely forgot about the long climbs, intense climbs to get up to the top of the ridge this morning. And then I also forgot that there was like 2 miles of downhill trail before you even got to tree line on the way back. So it was crazy. And some of those video clips, you can see that the wind was insane. It was like, I don't know, probably 50-mile-an-hour winds along the ridge as we were coming down. And then the snow, oh my gosh, the little snow patches were scary to me, especially because late in the day they get kind of slick. So I know I may have some more of that coming, but yeah, hoping it melts before I get there. So anyway, now that I've had dinner and done all my little camp chores and got myself tucked in, I'm feeling much better, and I hope tomorrow will be another good day, probably 15, 16 miles, but we'll see. Things can turn on a dime on the trail.